This infrared and near infrared light, NIR, can actually pass through the skin and speed up your mitochondria. These little tiny minuscule things that benefit your cells so that you can heal and become the Wolverine and you can heal faster and better.
Most hosts never achieve the results they hoped for. They're falling short on listenership and monetization, meaning their message isn't being heard and their show ends up costing them money. This podcast was created to help you grow your listenership and make money while you're at it. Get ready to take notes. Here's your host, Adam Adams.
Hey, podcaster. It's your host, Adam Adams. And I want to first off say thank you to the listeners who have been reaching out to me and just appreciating the few episodes that I've done so far about biohacking. That means a lot to me because I actually was a little nervous. I was thinking to myself, if I put out these episodes, what if my person who's listening, what if they are annoyed? What if they're like, I don't want to exercise or do a cold bath. I just want to learn how to interview somebody better, ask better questions, find better guests, grow my podcast. I only want that very small knowledge. And I was a little worried, to be honest. I remember I ran this by my mom and I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. But several of you have already said these are some of your favorite episodes, and that's what is really making me smile. It's making my heart smile. So thank you. Today, I've got another biohacking idea for you, and I'm recording this in the beginning-ish of a year. Now, of course, we're further into the year now, but I'm recording this into the beginning-ish of a year. And it doesn't mean that you've got to listen to it at the beginning of a year. It doesn't matter when you're listening to this. My goal is to make sure that you understand that not only your episodes, when you record things, they should be evergreen. And my episodes also, my attempt is always to make sure that they are evergreen so that it can be valuable to you in January, March, May, April, June, August, December. It won't matter. You will be able to get some benefit from it. And on this episode, I decided to talk a little bit about something called red light therapy. Now, what's interesting, I want to break this down because sunlight and red light and even UVAs and UVBs can be very beneficial to us. Now, there's a whole light spectrum. That's why we get a rainbow. And if you've ever noticed let's just say noon, at noon, the main light that you see, the sky is blue. Unless it's cloudy, then the sky might be white or something like that. But generally speaking, at noon, you have the sun straight up above you, which also means it's as close as it can be to you at that season. When it's at noon, it's as close to you as it possibly can because it's pretty much just straight above. Okay, it might be a little north or a little south of you, but pretty much on the east to west spectrum, it's pretty much straight above. And when it's earlier in the morning, like this morning, I got up before the sun came up. Or earlier this morning, I got up before the sun came up. I did my ice bath. I'm sitting there in the ice bath. It was 20 degrees outside or 22 degrees outside. I'm breathing and I'm breathing. The sun is just starting to come up and I can see my breath. And then I see the most amazing colors, the most amazing spectrum of color. It's red, it's orange, it's pink, it's a little yellow. And it made me feel like it's a little purple even, but it made me feel like, God or the universe loves me. I'm looking at the spectrum and just saying, wow, like this is amazing. That'll happen in the morning and that'll happen in the evening. That's why we have sunrises that are beautiful colors. And that's why we have sunsets that are beautiful colors. It's why they're mostly that red light. Now, I want to talk about this light for a sec and talk about some science because it's actually super, super interesting. There's healing properties to this light, and it isn't a joke. There is this piece of the light that is red light, and that's what you're seeing. Now, why is it red? First of all, let's talk about treble and bass in music, okay? Treble and bass. If you're sitting right next to, let's call it the drum line, okay, you've got the drum line and somebody hits a bass as loud as they can and you're in the drum line. It's probably not going to hurt your ears. I mean, you're going to feel it, but it's not going to be painful to your ears. But if you're right next to the snare drum, which is a treble, which is a high pitch sound, and you're right next to it, it's probably going to hurt your ears, especially if they play it as loud as they can. So you got that drum line. They hit the bass, boom. They hit the treble. The bass rumbles, doesn't like hurt, and the snare pierces your ear, and it's so painful. And you're like, why are you doing that next to my ear? So what ends up happening in music, in sound waves, is the bass can actually travel through things. The bass can actually travel farther. So you hear somebody hit a snare, if you're right next to it, it's going to really be painful to your ear. But if you're a mile away, you will definitely not hear that. If you're a half a mile away, maybe even if you're 100 yards away, in some cases, you're not going to hear the snare, but you probably will hear the bass because that low frequency is able to get through things, through the atmosphere. So that's why when you are listening to somebody, or you're not even meaning to listen to them, but you see a car coming by and all you hear is the bass coming out of it. Boom, boom, boom. And it kind of sounds bad because maybe their trunk is vibrating, but you feel the bass, but you have no idea what the song is. You have no clue what is actually being played because the only thing that comes through the car is the low frequency bass. It goes further and it goes longer. It's not as intense, but it travels farther. Let's talk about this for light waves. The blue light is the treble. The blue light is the thing that will attack you and be sharp to your ear. It will be painful. It will be scary. And the red light is the low bass that travels further. So when the sun is directly above us, we're seeing a lot of that blue light. But when the sun is far east or far west, because we're in the morning or the night, the sun actually has to travel through a lot more of the atmosphere. All of the molecules of oxygen and other things that are in our air, all of the pollution, all of the clouds, everything that is happening, it is traveling from so much further. The only light we can really see is red light. And because of this rhythm, we'll call it a rhythm because we're going back to music. We're hearing the bass, we're hearing the treble. Because of this rhythm of red light, blue light, red light, and disappearing of light, we get involved in, or we become accustomed to, something that's called a body clock. You've got your own mental clock, your own body clock. And this body clock is also called a circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is where even when you don't see the light, you know it's time to wake up because you're used to being awake at this time. And so that red light in the morning is really beneficial for you to trigger the circadian rhythm. That light at noon, that blue light from the sun being directly above you. Now, you'll have all of them happening when it's directly above you, but you will notice the blue light most, just like you will have all of the sounds happening to you when you're right next to every sound, but you will notice the snare or the treble, the high-pitched sounds most. You will hear the trumpet and flute and clarinet more than you will hear the tuba and the bass guitar, for example. You will hear and pierce, it will hurt your ears, that snare part, but the bass isn't going to be that much. And when you get further away, you start to hear all of them about the same. And when you get further away than that, you pretty much only can hear the bass because it's going to get through the atmosphere like the red light. And this red light does a lot of things. One interesting fact that you might not have known is that there is this thing called infrared light, and also NIR, which is near infrared. Red light, near infrared light, and completely infrared light has something where it can pass through more than just your eyes. Now, you might not believe me if I tell you this. When there is some light, infrared light, that passes through your skin cells, it goes through and your organs and your muscles can see and feel and sense that light when it's dark outside. When it's 6 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., your muscles, your skin, your eyes, and other parts of your body can sense that light. And it does a couple of things that are really beneficial for you. It actually pierces through the skin. It starts to do something to the things that are smaller than just your cells. As you know, you have cells that make up skin cells that make up your skin, liver cells that make up your liver, heart cells that make up your heart, brain cells that make up your brain. And all of these cells have something called mitochondria. Mitochondria basically heals the cells. It can benefit aging face. It can benefit an unhealthy liver. It can benefit a muscle that is bruised or sore from working out. I don't know if you knew that, but this red light, this infrared and near infrared light, NIR, can actually pass through the skin and speed up your mitochondria. These little tiny minuscule things that benefit your cells so that you can heal and become the Wolverine and you can heal faster and better. It's a reason why they say that we should get more sunlight. It helps our vitamin D and other things. It also helps speed up mitochondria and other things. It also helps us to feel better. And a couple of side notes about this is if you want the most amount of this light to benefit you, whether it's red light or blue light or anything, if you want the most amount to actually benefit, you probably are not going to wear sunglasses. So Adam Adams, I stopped wearing sunglasses a while back when I learned this because you can synthesize vitamin D through your skin and through your eyes. And if they say, the scientists that I listen to say that if we are blocking the light with our eyes by using sunglasses, shades, or closing our eyes, for example, in the sun, sometimes that can actually make it harder for us to gain the melanin. The melanin is what protects our skin. The melanin is what gives us a healthy glow or a suntan, for example. If we are using sunglasses and blocking that light, our eyes might not know that it is dead noon right now, which means that we may not get enough of the melanin that will help us to be able to protect our skin against the sun. So I'm saying that it can be beneficial for you to use less sunscreen, use sunscreen less often, and only when you're in the sun for a long, long time, and try to not wear sunglasses. I additionally always try to open up my sunroof, even have the wind coming in, open up my windows because the scientists say that you are blocking some of these wavelengths, even though you can't really tell with your eyes. You're blocking a lot of these wavelengths because they bounce off of your window. And so you're not getting all of the spectrum that you can get. You're going to get a lot of benefit from the early morning sunrise. You're going to get a lot of benefit from the noon time, and you're going to get a lot of benefit from the sunset. That's going to help your circadian rhythm. That's going to help you to be able to sleep better, your own body clock. That's going to help you to be able to speed up mitochondria, to heal better, to feel better. It's going to allow you to look younger, feel younger, and to synthesize that vitamin D. So a couple of hacks are if it's late at night or early in the morning, for example, before the sun comes up, and you need to use your computer screen or you need to use your phone screen for any reason, you're playing a game or you're doing emails too early, or you're just bored scrolling on TikTok or something. If it's earlier in the morning before the sun comes up or soon after a normal sunrise, beautiful sunrise would have already gone away, soon after that, you probably want to have something called blue light blocking glasses. When you're looking at your computer screen, when you're looking at your phone screen, if it's early or late, most likely you're going to want to have these blue light blocking glasses on. Another hack is that on my cell phone, I have it go to night mode at dusk or dawn. I'm thinking it's dusk when it's going to be dark. So as the sunset starts to happen, my phone says, all right, I need to take some of that blue light away. Now it's not going to look as bright or as natural, but it's going to help me to be able to sleep better. Why is it going to help me to sleep better? Because the circadian rhythm, if we get some of the morning sun and or red lights in our house, if we get some of the evening sun and or red lights in our house, in those two times, if we're getting that red light, it will actually help us to be able to slowly build the melatonin that will help us sleep better. It'll help us to know when the time is. And you can mess with this if you go to another country. So if you go somewhere that's, let's just say 6 hours or 12 hours before or after your normal time zone, you can start wearing those blue light blocking glasses and maybe even exercise or do an ice bath in the morning. And these things will start triggering your circadian rhythm so that your body knows that it's time to wake up. It'll know that it's time to start getting ready for bed and I need to start making more melatonin. So you can do things to trigger the same result. And what does this mean? You won't get as much jet lag. You won't basically F up your circadian rhythm by going 8 hours away from where you live. And now it takes you 8 days. They say it takes about a day per hour that you change to be able to start feeling good again. So when I went to the Philippines, I think it's an 11-hour difference from me. When I went to the Philippines last year, and I'm going to go again this year because I have a lot of employees there. We do editing and post-production for people's podcasts. And we have team meetings out in the Philippines where all 36 of us, or it was more last year, but all 36 of us this year are going to get together. We're going to connect. When I do that, and it's 11 or 12 hours different, they say it basically takes a day per hour. It may take me up to 12 hours to start feeling normal again. Well, I want to hack it into the system. I want to be the best version of myself because I'm in an opposite schedule and my body's clock is thinking this is strange. So last year when I went in April, I ended up bringing my blue light blocking glasses and I did a cold shower in the morning and I wore my blue light blocking glasses when I first woke up. And I went to bed early when the sun started going. I put the glasses on. I didn't stay on my phone too long because I wanted to help my body clock. I would take melatonin at a certain time to be able to help me to be able to sleep. And it still took me a long time. It took me 4 full days until I was able to say I felt absolutely normal. But it didn't take me 12 days to feel normal. So what I'm saying is when I went 12 hours opposite, instead of taking me more than a week, it took me less than a week to start feeling my best because I was able to use some tricks like the blue light blocking glasses, my orange glasses in the evening to be able to support me, to be able to get my circadian rhythm back into place much, much more quickly. So there's a lot of benefits from light. I want you to leave this episode thinking, man, I should go on a 20-minute walk a day. Whether it's cold or too hot or too cold, I'll either put on a jacket or wear a tank top or whatever it is, whatever you can do, whatever's right for you. I want you to focus on at least trying to get yourself 20 minutes of natural daylight every day. Go outside in the sun in the very morning and or right at noon and or in the evening. Do yourself a favor and go for a walk every single day. This will benefit you on its own by helping your circadian rhythm if you do this every day so that you can sleep better, have more energy, have more vitamin D, process your other vitamins better because when you're processing vitamin D better, you're able to process other vitamins as well. You'll be able to have a healthy glow on your skin. You'll be able to have more energy, etc. So just by doing this little hack, by getting outside and or using the blue light blocking glasses that I use and or I've got these red lights that are NIR and red light. The NIR, you can hardly even see. The red light itself, you definitely can see. And it helps me to be able to have more melatonin at night. So I turn off all of the other screens. I put on my blue light blocking glasses and I turn my red lights on in the bathroom and in my bedroom. And I put them on a timer so that they're on for about 30 minutes. And then I'm going to close my eyes. They're going to turn off and I can have that circadian rhythm really, really well. And when I go on vacation, I try to bring at least one of these red lights with me and my glasses so that in the morning I can do red light. In the evening, I can do red light and or I can make it easier on myself. I could just go outside and go for a walk in the morning and in the evening. Even if it's 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening, if you are getting 20 minutes of actual sunlight per day, it can benefit you in many, many ways. And just one of those ways is speeding up the mitochondria because the red light, like I said in the beginning of this episode, the red light is like the bass that gets through the car and it's the only thing you can hear. The red light in the early morning and in the late night, the NIR, the near infrared light and the infrared light is more likely to pass through the atmosphere and speed up that mitochondria, allowing you to be healthier in many, many ways. I hope that you're getting value out of these episodes. I'm going to see you on the next episode where I'm interviewing a podcaster that you need to hear what they're doing, how they're doing it, because it'll benefit you. I'll see you on that episode. Oh, hey, because 3 of my clients came to me recently looking to find a way to have their podcast make them money instead of cost them money. We put together a resource for some of our clients, and I want to give it to you as well. It's something that did actually seem to help because one of them is now making $2,600 a month. Another one's $4,500 a month. And the third is making between $5,000 and $10,000 each month. And so it's been a resource that's been incredibly valuable to them. It's our sponsor sheet template. It's a template of a sponsor sheet, and it gives you something that you can hand to potential sponsors and hopefully also be making $2,600, $4,500, or between $5,000 and $10,000 regularly each month with your podcast. So this has been a contributing factor to helping all 3 of those clients turn their podcast into an additional income stream for them. And the way that you can find it is just going to our website, growyourshow.com, but put in /templates, growyourshow.com/templates. And then you can actually download that template and others that could be valuable to your podcasting experience. I'll see you on the next episode.